Hi there, my name is Olivier Newman and I'm a Tableau and Alteryx consultant here at the Information Lab in London. In this week's video, we're going to be looking at challenge 464. So let's dive in and have a little read at what it's all about. So the dataset has two datasets, and we're going to have a list of failed banks in one, and that includes a certification number, and the second one is a list of bank establishment date and a certification number. And what's my takeaway from that information? Well, my big takeaway is that I have a certification number here, and I have a certification number here. So that's automatically telling me that's going to be the field that I'm going to be joining my two datasets together on. Then I'm going to be calculating number of days from a bank establishment to the day it closed. And then finally, I'm going to determine which bank failed in the shortest number of days. So that sounds like I've got a couple stages there. I've got to join my datasets, I've got to figure out the number of days till a bank closed, and then I've got to find the number of days, the shortest number of days effectively. So let's jump in and have a quick look at our data. If I go into here and zoom in a little bit, we can see we have bank name, city, state. Looks like these are all American banks. The cert, which is that identification. Acquiring institute, so presumably who bought over the bank. Closing date, so that's going to be important. And the fund, so presumably that's an amount of money inside the bank. In the second data set, we have a certification number, and we have our in-state, which is the establishment date of the bank. So, first things first, I'm going to grab a join tool. I'm going to chuck that into there, and I'm going to join the anchors onto the left and the right one. Doesn't really matter which way around you do this. It's erroring at me because I've not specified a join clause. So I'm going to go up here to my top left here and go on cert and cert. And I'm going to hit run. We have three outputs from our join tool, a left, a middle and a right. The left one is empty. And this is a nice moment to sort of sense check our join to see if we've done it correctly. So by saying the left join is empty, what we're saying, right, is there are no failed banks which join to a list of banks, right? And that makes sense because for a bank to have failed, it must have first existed at some point in time. On the right-hand side here, we have 27,000 records. And again, that makes sense, right? Because we have lots of banks that were founded. So they've got an inception date, a number, a cert number, but they've not got a failure date. And finally, in the middle, we have all 569 records, and we have banks that were founded and then eventually failed. So I need to use my closing date and my end date in order to calculate how many days a bank closed in. So I need to calculate the difference in days between the opening date and the closing date. And luckily for us, Alteryx has a function called dateDiff function. However, the dateDiff function, as you may well expect, only accepts date time data types. And as we can see here, neither our closing date or our end date are date types. In fact, they're both v-strings, which are variable strings, so we need to change that. And again, there's quite a few ways that we could go about changing the data type. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to very simply go to my parse panel up here, grab date time from the top left, bring that down, make sure it's connecting to my join, drop it on there, and then I'm just going to format this correctly. So first things first, I'm going to select string to date time format. I'm going to select the field that I want to convert, which is going to be the ins date. I'm going to call my outward going column, so the column that's going to be created, ins date underscore. That will become apparent a bit further down the line why I've gone for that naming convention. And then finally, I need to tell Alteryx what kind of date format I have my data in. So if we're looking at the ins date, right, and I zoom in here, we can see that the ins date is in the format of month / day / year. So it's in like an American format. So if I go over here, have a little look, I can find the one I want. So let's have a look. So I need month. Yep, there we go. Month, day, year. So I'm just going to select this one here. I'm going to now hit run just to make sure that's sort of working as expected and that I'm not getting any errors. Oh, Alteryx being a little bit slow. But we can see now we have our ins date over here at the end. And that looks right there. So we had the 15th of June 1960. And that's converted into 15th of June 1960. It's always good to sense check these things just to make sure that Alteryx has interpreted our request in the way in which we intended. I'm going to grab another datetime tool, and I'm going to perform something very similar on the closing date. And again, I'm going to go with a similar naming convention with closing date underscore in the middle. And this time, our date format is day dash short form month dash year. So I just need to go again on our list over here to have a find that. So day short form month year. I found that there, and I'm going to have a quick run of that again just to make sure that Alteryx is interpreting it in the format in which I intended. So we now have our closing date and our ins date there, and that all looks good. And again, I just want to sense check that right, just to make sure that it's indeed working as intended. So we can see closing date is the 14th of February 2020, and closing underscore date is the 14th of February 2020. So that looks good to me. I can now go and calculate the difference between these 2 days. So I'm going to go to preparation, formula tool, and go on and add a new column called days. And the formula that I need here is going to make use of a function called datetime diff. You'll see as you start typing it in, it pops up there. And if we zoom here, we can see the arguments that it's willing to accept. So it's looking for datetime 1 and datetime 2, which will be your opening and closing dates of the financial institution. And U is units. So that's going to be, do we want to calculate this in seconds, hours, weeks, days, years? We're going to go and do it in days. I'm going to pop that in here. So closing date, make sure it's closing underscore date. Ins date underscore, and as unit we're going to go for day. And you can see in here the date preview. You can see it's giving us 21,793. Seems like a reasonable number, but that's just sort of giving you an idea of what kind of format you're going to be getting out. I'm also going to switch the data type to a number because I'm going to want to sort by that later down the line, and if it's a string I might run into some problems. Again, we're just going to run our workflow to make sure it's behaving as we expect it to. And we can see we have our days here. That gives us the number of days that each institution was open for. But as we recall from the start, our actual task was to determine the shortest number of days between the establishment and closing of a bank. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to find the bank that has the smallest value in this column here effectively. So there's several ways we can do it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort it, and then I'm going to take the top value. So I'm going to grab my sort from up here. And I'm going to sort by number of days. Ascending, so that means that as we go down the column, the number of days is going to increase, which means that the least number of days is going to be the top value, which is what we want. So when I run that and then check the values, what we should hopefully see is that we have, so we can see 879 days, 900, 1001, 1127. And just sort of double check ourselves here, but that's Watford Village Bank is the bank with the shortest number of days. And we can see that that's happening here. So we've got the right one at the top, and now we just need to select that first row. And I'm going to do that with a sample tool. Drop that in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go on first n rows, so first whatever number of rows, and we'll see we select n here. It defaults to 100, but we're obviously just going to change that here to 1. Run that, and that should give us the top value with Watford Village Bank and 876 days as the institute, which lasted the least amount of time in this dataset anyway. So, yep, so that's as expected. This is sort of effectively our final output. Often with these challenges, I like to sort of grab a select tool and do a little bit of cleanup. So for example, we have two certs. We have cert here and we have cert here. And that's obviously because that's the field we joined on right. But I might just quite like to get rid of that. And also we had our ins date. So we have like our ins date here, and again we have our closing date here and our closing date here, right? Because we created new fields, we didn't get rid of the old ones. So I'm going to do all of that and sort of fix all that out in this select tool. So get rid of the original ins date and the original closing date, and then rename our ins date and closing date fields that are dates as the same name as the original fields. So ins date underscore will become ins date, and closing underscore date will become closing date. I also don't need that first cert there, and I think everything else looks good to me. So I'm going to hit run there. And that's going to have a sort of the same number of columns as the output in the example. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, better click here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then, yeah, you'd probably, want to add a browse tool on at the end, or, an output data if you were being sort of really technically correct and making sure that you were able to output this data. Thank you very much for taking time to watch this video. Obviously, this is just one way you can solve this Alteryx challenge. I did it in the way in which I thought was most simple and intuitive. But there's obviously lots of different ways you could do this. We'd love to see some of your thoughts and ideas. If you thought you had a better way of doing it, please don't hesitate to drop a comment and include a screenshot down below. Thank you very much for taking time for me to listen. And from everyone at the Information Lab, we look forward to seeing you next time.